Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. She's a strong, independent woman, and she doesn't need a man, but she sure does want one. Well, you know what? I've heard so many women say that, and as a man, we always try to fix shit. So I thought I'd try to solve that particular issue for the ladies, especially the ones who are older. Um, what I'm saying is they don't make good wives when around 40 years old or more. They want partners. So what I'm going to do is try to give them a blueprint for what a partnership would look like in a efficient relationship. So, but before I get into that, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Be sure to hit that notification bell when you subscribe and feel free to put comments to what I'm about to say. Now, some of this could be tongue in cheek, but I put some things down that can actually become part of a partnership agreement. If you have some lawyers involved, that can make the words sound good. And before I get started, I'm going to show you my favorite girl and what she said, Ebony K. Williams, on what she said in a recent podcast or a recent interview with a few other ladies. And I'm going to tell you where she went wrong and why this partnership agreement might be perfect for a woman like her who never wants to submit or be a wife to some man, no matter how much money he makes. So stay tuned, stay with me. I'm going to play that real quick. It's real short. And then we'll come back and I'll start to go through some of the salient points of this partnership agreement. Bear with me for a second. All right, here we go.
If you're not all of those things, if I don't desire you, I really don't want you. Real boss men, they do not desire a financial or an intellectual equal. They are not attracted to it. It is a turn off. The PP goes, burr, burr, burr. It does. I'm telling y'all the truth. They did not go to law school, L'Oreal, so they could end up with a peer. They went to law school, they went to medical school, they went to Harvard MBA so that they could be the dominant. Yeah. So that they could run the shop.
We're all single here on this panel. Are you single?
I am.
All right, so that little clip. She told you everything she thinks about a man who is actually well to do and how they want to lead their households like that's some kind of poison because she just doesn't understand because she doesn't understand that men don't want partners at that level or at any level. We want wives, and she's not willing to be a wife. So she struggles with the understanding that men ain't gonna be putting up with her bullshit, right? And it bothers her because she wants to have her cake and she wants to eat it too. And men just won't let her do that. Not a man that she wants. And so because she doesn't know what's good for her. No man wants to be a captain of industry and come home and have to wrestle with his wife about every little details of life. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't we don't have to be rich for that. It's the natural order of things. So she doesn't want a covenant relationship, according to any religious things where, a man is the head of the household. She wants to be an equal to a man who's a captain of industry. What the hell with that? No man wants a wife like that. And he doesn't want to beat his wife around. He just wants a wife. He doesn't want a partner. And she doesn't understand that at all. So I have something for her because she's perfectly within her rights to want what she wants. Every woman at that level or any level, you have the right to want what you want. So if you want that and you don't want to be a wife, but you want to be a partner, I have the perfect, no, I don't know what I'm going to say perfect, but I have a very good solution for you. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about the solution. Why don't we, what I call it is a partnership agreement for an efficient relationship. Paer, pronounced pair, just like any other pair, but it's spelled Paer. I don't want to hear no shit about that. If you can spell Michael with the A before the E, I can spell pair with the A before the E. So let's get it. So I have a few articles of this partnership that might be salient, right? Okay, so let's start with the fact that Uh, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, where is it? Oh, all right, there you go. All right, the very first one is there's a preamble, right? This is a partnership agreement, okay, that I'm saying, and I told you what it's about, how you pronounce it, pair. But this is for the strong, independent woman and a successful and popular select man. I just put that in there. And so this pair will delineate certain obligations between the parties, right? Financial, romantic, living arrangements, public and private and public posture. Suppose you want kids together, all these kind of things. And it could be more. So this is not going to be a full definition, but just enough to say, just so you can get the idea of what I'm trying to do here. Okay. Listen. So Article 1, the romantic obligations. Right? So, what's the romantic obligations between us? Do we have some kind of sexual frequency where we're going to get together? Because we most likely won't be living in the same house. So, we're going to, we're going to have to establish whether we're going to be monogamous or not. Okay. If we're going to be monogamous, well, how often are we going to be, get together? Right? You have your own life. I have my own life. When do we get together and bang it out? You know what I'm saying? And if we're not going to be monogamous, then what are the penalties? Those kind of things we need to discuss and more. I didn't try to be completely exhaustive, but you get the point, right? How about financial obligations? You're going to have your money. I'm going to have my money. Are we going to share some kind of bank account together, some kind of joint account? Are we going to share some kind of investments together? Are we going to have some kind of estate planning that belongs to both of us, even though we're not married? Well, that's a discussion that we should have. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just fair. We're going to be together. How are we going to deal with the money? The third thing, living arrangements. You're going to keep your house. I'm going to keep my house. Do we buy a house together where we share? We build a house to say, and if both of our names are on the lease or on a mortgage. That's kind of a good conversation to have. Because I know you're going to probably want to keep your own place because we're only in some kind of partnership agreement. We're not married. So I'm not going to give up my house. And you don't have to give up your house. But you know what? Maybe we'll buy a house jointly. Because I can tell you this, I probably won't want you moving into my house as a man. And there is absolutely no way in hell as a man will I move into yours. I don't give a shit who you are. So I will never do that. So anyhow, listen, so this is something to talk about. So if we buy this house together, as far as part of living, of course, it's going to be 50-50 and all that kind of stuff. We pay it together. That might go hand in hand with that joint bank account. And we just live together, when we meet in at the house, you know? Okay. How about the private and public posture and our appearance? What this means is, when do we tell the world that we're dating? And what kind of restrictions that does that put on either one of us publicly? Because now we are reflections of each other. You reflect on me, I reflect on you. If I was a strip club guy, maybe I gotta give that away. If you like to, wear your titties out and all that kind of stuff, maybe you have to stop that when you go out and be a little bit more reserved. Right. So these are kind of things we need to talk about. What kind of information about each other would you be comfortable when we're talking that, I probably prefer you don't never mention me at all. But if you say anything, are there restrictions on what you can talk about and what I can talk about? Because we're going to do some pillow talk, right? So these are some things we should have hashed out as part of the agreement. Listen, don't tell shit about my finances. Don't tell shit about, my exes, just like I won't do for you. So what about blended family? How are we going to deal with that? You know what I'm saying? Uh, hey man, what's going on? Easy money. You know what? This is say what? What if we have to? Would this be the same conversation? No, no, it wouldn't be the same conversation with the traditional because these people don't want a traditional marriage. Easy money. If there was a traditional one, we wouldn't need this. Ebony K. Williams never talks about herself as being a wife. She just wants somebody to bust it down every so often so she could come and go as she pleases. She might think she want to be a wife, but if you ever listen to her talk, she never mentions husband and she never mentions her being a wife. All she talks about is being in a partnership. So this is something that takes away the vows, it takes away the covenant, it takes away all of that shit, and you're just my partner. That handshake is significant. We're shaking hands and we're gonna bang each other according to some kind of agreement. And that's what this is. So the blended family, okay, you got kids, I got kids, maybe. Or if we want kids together, let's talk about how we're gonna deal with that. Education, discipline, I don't like to beat my kids. You like to beat yours, that kind of stuff. So we hash some of that shit out, and see how we can get in a relationship. It's not a marriage because we don't really believe in a covenant. We don't believe in the vows. We just want to bang each other under some kind of restrictions. So wait, hold on, man. So you should, first of all, you should bring your ass. I could drop the link if you want to talk about it, but let me go ahead and do this thing. I don't know. Just tell me. I'll just drop the link. So if you want to talk about it, I'm just having fun here, brother. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, I think I'm right. Okay, and so you're welcome to come up and hash it out. So I don't have that much more, but I mean, we can talk about it in general. Uh, all right. So okay, so after the kids and that discussion, there could be a lot more to this agreement. But we should have a rider, like instead of a prenup, we have a prepare agreement in the event we break up. How do we break up? And if we have kids, what do we do? If we have a shared house, what do we do? It sounds like a marriage, but it's completely secular. It's completely oh man, it was just easy money, man. What's up, brother?
What's going on?
How you doing, man? How you doing? Okay, so what you got?
There we go. Can you hear me now?
I hear you. Do you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so what's
Yeah.
up, man? What's your problem with what I'm trying to do here? I'm innovating, brother.
I,
I'm solving problems.
I don't have an issue with what you're doing. What my question was coming from was what you're talking about is great, right? Like this makes sense. But I guess the part that I'm a little miffed on is you say that this is a partnership agreement, and I'm looking and I'm seeing parallels between what would be discussed in a traditional situation. Like for instance, if a guy was marrying a woman and they decided that they were going to go in the traditional route, wouldn't these be the same conversations that they would still be having?
Yes. Except,
Yeah, that was it.
yeah. I'm not gonna listen. Absolutely, I draw from that. But just like I tell the religious guys on our BMU channel, that I always have one foot in the secular world. It's gonna always be there. I talk to my wife about that all the time. So the parallels don't bother me, but it's Crimson Cure really goes into this, and I might say I came to this conclusion without her, but she breaks it up into contract and covenant.
Mm-hmm.
And she says a lot of people like the contractual part, the partnership, especially the women of today, but they don't like the covenant part, the traditional stuff that makes them into a wife and the responsibility of the wife. They want the man to be a traditional man, but they don't want to be a traditional wife. And listen, I don't know how much content that you listen. Ebony K. Williams is my poster child for a woman who wants to have a man, but she doesn't want to do anything that a woman should do for that man at any level.
I think you like her, Arpain. I think you see Ebony and you're like, wow, she's pretty.
I got a lot of Ebony. I get my most. She is pretty, man. She's a pretty woman, and I listen to her, and I'm pulling for her. But she keeps falling short. Because even if I had a chance to talk to her, I would be saying the same shit to her. I said, "You're my poster child," because she's so smart, but it sounds like she just falls short. So I just threw this together because I'm probably going to put this together and give it to BMU, and I might talk about it again on Monday on my Monday show. And then I'll have some people come. So I think this might be a good topic for the Monday show.
I think so. I know I can't do this Monday. Not that you need to do anything around me, because my kids got their scout award, so I'll be preoccupied with that. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, hopefully any other Monday should work. But
right.
yeah, I think that when I hear people like down partnerships and say partnerships are bad, it needs to be this way, and I'm like, well, there's a lot of similarities between how the partnership kicks it and how between the traditional way kicks it. I know that there's different things that they may or may not be rooted in, depending on the faith and the beliefs of the people involved. But there isn't that much of a difference between a partnership and a traditional marriage. And like, I don't understand the pushback that the term partnership gets. It's like a dirty word in some of these spaces. Does that make
Yeah, well,
sense?
it's a dirty word to me. It's a dirty word to a lot of men who take being a traditional man seriously. Me and my wife are not in a partnership. We're just not. She's my wife and I'm her husband. And we're more of a covenant kind of thing. We don't have partnership agreements mean that there could be an end to them. Partnership agreement says there's transactional. You do your shit, I do mine, and then, or else we're breaking the partnership. A covenant is not necessarily like that. Especially when somebody's down in your marriage. That's the for better or worse part. That's not in the partnership.
Why
That
wouldn't it
is
be?
that's not in the partnership. A partnership says you hold up your end, I hold up mine. That's what we agreed to. And so, okay, so easy money. I'll put it to you this way, even if you don't agree with that. When women say partnership, I don't know about you, but if you're in tune to a lot of way these modern women think, when they say partnership, they mean partnership. They don't mean covenant. They don't mean wife. Or else they would use the word. Words have meaning. I'll give you another one. If you're out with your wife and she introduced you to her boss if she's working, and she says, "Well, this is my partner, Easy Money Jones." Come on, man. You're gonna feel some kind of way if she doesn't
Well,
say this is my husband.
she wouldn't call me partner like that. That's
Well, see,
that's my
but
spouse. That's my wife.
listen, brother. But then you proving my point.
What do you
Because
mean?
you prove if you had a if my wife ever introduced me to anybody she knows that I don't know as her partner, I would be kind of miffed. I might not show it right then and there, but we damn sure gonna talk about
So
it.
the only way I'll say this, the only way that I would use the partner terminology would be if we jointly agreed that we wanted to use more inclusive language, because usually when people say partner, we usually think that they're same sex couples, right? And
That's another thing. That's
right,
another thing. That's where that came from.
right. So if we decided jointly that hey, we want to be more inclusive in our language, then we would agree that that is language that we would use when we introduce each other in public. But that's not how we kick it. That's not a thing for us right now.
That's not but first of all, that's just never going to be a thing for me because I don't want to be
That's cool.
included with any of those goddamn people, man. So, they can have their own language, and the fact that people are starting to adopt that language. I had a young lady, I was at a family a gathering, right? It was a young lady who was a cousin of one of my cousins, but she wasn't related to me. So me and my wife were sitting down, real pretty young lady. She comes up and she wants to talk to us. So she sat with us the whole event. And she said, she talked to me. She said, me and my partner did this. I said, I looked at her right away. I said, you're a lesbian? She said, no, no, no. I said, you a lesbian? I said it just like that, man. She says, no, this is my boyfriend. I said, does he agree with you calling him a partner? If they weren't married. So at that point, all bets are off. I didn't go into it, but I was surprised myself how fast I just asked. I just met her. I'm like, you're a lesbian, because I was gonna be real disappointed because she was taking one from the brothers. You know what I'm saying? Because she was real pretty. You can't be keeping that shit to yourself, man. You're too pretty for that. But anyway, nah, man, I hear what you're saying. I just think me, right, for the Monday show, we're gonna move it back to 7 o'clock. I'm gonna try to get that as a new time instead of 6, where people could be around. I just try to come up with things that's good to talk about. And this one, I put this together not necessarily for that show, but my whole video, what you call it, my video, what you call it, inventory. I try to pick some stuff that might be a good conversation for BMU's network. And I just decided to go live today because I usually just make the video and then
Yeah, that's why I
just
hit the link. That's why I hit the button because I'm like, ooh, our pain is live. Let me go check him out, see what he talking about. And I saw partnership in the title. I'm like, yeah, let me jump in and see what he got going on.
I think I'm gonna start doing that more often. Just go live because I gotta edit this, so I'm gonna probably go private, edit some things out, and then put it back up publicly because they had a couple of commercials in there I want to get out, especially when Ebony was talking.
Yeah, all good. Yeah,
You know,
I
so
didn't want nothing, man. I just wanted to stop in and say what's up, and kind of go from the chat and just kind of explain what I was talking about. But yeah, this is one of those discussions that I think we need to have, and not that we
yes,
necessarily need to normalize the partnership approach, but I think that there's a lot of nuance and context that is missed when we just denigrate it in favor of the traditional way when you
exactly.
know when the way that we've done tradition doesn't necessarily jive with how things have always been because tradition moves and it changes based on societal norms and what's going on in culture at the time.
I
So with
agree
that,
with
I
you.
gotta get back to work. Everybody not
Yeah, but
retired like
let
you.
me, let me say one thing to you. I'm gonna leave before you
Yeah,
leave. This would be
yeah.
a perfect thing for BMU to use Anissa and Trey as an example of a partnership agreement. You know what I'm saying? Am I right? Am I right? This would be perfect for
Man,
those
man.
two. Anyway,
I don't know.
brother, man.
Trey got to calm down, man. I saw him and
Uh,
TJ go at it. I'm like, y'all are basically saying the same thing. Like, why you yelling at that man?
see, nobody's gonna say it, but that trade, he can't shake it. He goes from 0 to 80, man, real fast, man. Anyway, brother, I'll let you go back to. I'm gonna end this live anyway. Go edit it, and I'm gonna tell BMU this is what I want to talk about on Monday. So too bad you can't be on that one, but that's all right, man. I'll think of something for the one after that, man. Later.
For sure. Take care,
I
man.
appreciate you coming up, man.
Always support, man. You guys are the first people to allow me to speak and come into the space, so I appreciate that.
You
All
got it, man.
appreciation.
All right,
All right.
brother.
Yep.
Later.
Yep.
And with that, listen, I think let me go ahead and get to this last page, my partner thoughts on some of this. I really think that, we should look at this, because just like Easy Money said, that this is good for just saying, I can't stand the word partnership and we'll just leave it like that, because this might actually work. Not just my words, but something fleshed out just might actually work for two people who don't really want to be married in a traditional sense, but might even love each other, but want to keep their own space, you know? And for a woman like Ebony K. Williams, this would be perfect for her because she doesn't want a husband, even though she wants a man. And men who are captains of industry don't want no goddamn woman that they have to argue with all the time over every goddamn thing. They want wives. Men want wives if they're going to marry them. At least the men I know. And you don't have to be rich for that. I'm not rich, but I don't want no damn partner. I want a wife, and I got one. And it makes a whole hell of a lot of difference to me. But anyway, with that, let me end it. Our pain, marriage, politics, and politics and sports. Marriage, politics, and sports. Over and out.